it's called the portion of Truma, and it speaks about the offering. Yeah, meaning what can a person give of itself in order to create or to make a structure that inside it there will be a difference or a definition or differentiation of what is sacred, meaning synchronizing sacred space with sacred time, meaning that inside this space one can feel time, meaning one can feel the process of Tikun. So it's to consecrate a structure. Now, it is interesting because it has been said that everything that is being offered, we'll read it. It's chapter 25 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, that they bring me an offering. It's between the. Now we have to just to pause a minute on the word offering in Hebrew. Offering is to do in English something that you can give of yourself, but it's in the Hebrew word is something between offering and donation. Okay? Something that is being able to be taken off, but not in a way of giving it, but giving it in a specific direction, which is uplifting it. So offering here has to do with uplift. Truma in Hebrew, apart from donation and offering, has in the root of the word the verb to uplift. To uplift, what to uplift? To uplift the notion of being, of true being, or to uplift Havaya, or to uplift Malchut as the last letter of let's say, of that word which is the name of the higher, to uplift it in such a way that it will be Torah. It will be a way of drawing this light of Torah into impregnation of, or to create a space of pregnancy, a state of pregnancy for the spirit. So it is to do with how actually we find in ourselves a meeting point with something that is in a complete opposition to us in its value and its qualities, how we create space and time which will become a meeting point with the higher. Okay. So what are actually the values, qualities that are needed to actually construct such a place or such a space? Okay, so it is through Moses that is coming the suggestion how to do it. Next portion will be a directive orders of how to do it. So uplifting and an uplifting offering still relies on something that we cannot, not everyone can rely on the true generosity of the heart. Meaning true generosity meaning the ability, naturally the ability to want it. Yeah. Meaning that we have a part in us which is already liberated. It's the spirit speaking. So this is what he was actually offered. Moses was offered what to offer, what kind of an opportunity to offer those spirits. Spake unto the children of Israel that they bring me an offering of every man. It means human, because not usually, but this includes ladies as well, of every man that giveth it willingly with his heart, you shall take my offering. So whether it's either or he's giving whatever his heart is willing to give. So why is giving my offering? It means that no one can give anything but that which was given to him by the higher. It's what we call sweetening. It's giving back to the source of it. What was given to us, there need to be a willing of the heart to give it back. Yeah. So, and this is the offering which you shall take of them. Gold, which we say it's to do with the will to receive, or the, one can say, the desire, a true desire for the pleasure of the presence of the high, or the true desire for the pleasure of the light. And silver, which is the longing. As well, the longing that we have for the higher is being, it was given to us, we borrowed it, one can say, or it was borrowed to us, because it's the longing, it's actually, we're using the longing for the higher, for the creator, for the spirit. And this longing, silver, starts with shame. And it's like, it's silvering, yeah. It's coating our face with a sheen or with a shine. Yeah. Depends if we're a pearl or not, with the shine of that longing. So this is gold and silver. So actually what is being described is all types of possible ability to feel, which is called gold and silver, and brass, yeah, which is sort of to do with the middle column of putting together the one can say the brightness of gold, but mixed with another metal, meaning mixed with another conductivity that has to do with one can say with tikun, or correction of the snake, because in Hebrew brass is nechoshet, and it has in it a snake, nachash, or the serpent. So it's the participation of the correction of, as you know, like it's the serpent that is sort of intertwined with a rod, like a symbol of medicine. Okay, so this is the brass, and now it comes into the colors, and blue and purple and scarlet and fine linen and goat's hair all these are to do with, all the colors are to do with state of correction or reforming, Tikun of Malchut. Malchut with Bina is blue. Purple is to do with all colors together. Yeah. And scarlet is to do with all those colors who resist and then sort of ply. We manage to incorporate them inside into the mission. Okay. And all that which is fine linen and goat hair. Fine linen is actually to do with that which it's silk, that we are actually producing it from a worm or from a caterpillar. It speaks about humility. It speaks about surrender. So fine linen is the quality of surrender. Is the ability to actually transform and surrender so something else can happen. It's like the worm or the caterpillar is eating in order to be able to create from itself the thread of silk and then to cover itself in a cocoon that inside it there is a transform. So the surrender is the covering up, okay, of itself. And then the goat hair is to do with the power of resistance. How we take the power of resistance, which is the goat, which is being fierce. In Hebrew, it's to do with the word fierce. The fierceness, how we actually engage fierceness into our work. Yeah, that which is usually would attack the work, how we harness it into fierceness of dedication to work. And that is that leather of the goat will be the cover or the outskirt of this territory or structure of the tabernacle. Okay. So you see that we need to read it, but we need a key, an opener, in order to understand what actually we need to do with our ego structure, how we can use even its one can say its qualities and to transform them into building actually a tabernacle. Okay. And then ram skin dyed red and badger skins and shittim wood. And then we need oil for the light, spices for anointing oil, and for sweet incense. So now we start to go into all sort of one can say qualities that are not to do with the human structure, but are to do with the higher structure and how they can actually draw them. So when we speak about oil, we speak about wisdom. When we anoint with wisdom, we anoint ourselves with wisdom while we study Torah. Okay? This is actually the fuel in which we can ignite or illuminate our spirit. So this is to do with this, and then all sorts of stones. And now this is one of the most important. It's verse 8. and let them make me a sanctuary. Actually, he said a temple. And let them make me a sanctuary that I may dwell among them. Well, if you read it, it should be read, and let them make me a sanctuary, a temple, that I may dwell in it, not in them. So it actually reflects back that the key that even the Torah gives us the reminder, it's not speaking about an actual building. It speaks about the heart of human beings. If they will make from all those qualities and characters a space-time in themselves, then I can dwell among them. Or actually it says in them. In the original it said in them. Not among them, but actually in them, in the heart. Okay? So, and let them make. So there is a particular importance to the making. And I'm saying that the tabernacle is a meeting point of consecrating time and space. It is said that Israel consecrate time. What means that they consecrate time? Everyone has holidays. But the particular reading and drawing of a cycle that give very high importance to the processes that are being offered by the higher, to be able to offer back ourselves inside, one can say, an ecology or a structure of oneself, is what is being spoken here as a tabernacle, meaning a new heart that can actually feel or be sensitive, time sensitive to processes that are being offered from above, that we are offering ourselves back to it as one can say, as the arena of happening. The human heart should be the arena where consecration of space and time can happen. And consecration of space and time is the meeting point of the will of the higher to bestow light, and the space that humans actively make for it to happen in themselves. Okay. So this is, let's say, a key point of how we need to treat all this. This now it begins to be maybe more clear why we're speaking about uplifting offering. It means we have to make from ourselves a sanctuary for the higher, for God, for the Creator, for the process of becoming, yeah, so it can dwell among or with us or in us. It is said that all the proportion of the structure is actually the secret of the proportion of all universes, the proportion of all worlds, meaning of how actually we come into it. So if we look at the tabernacle, yeah, as a tent of union, one can say, a tent of testimony of the union of or the possibility of the meeting point on the meeting, the essence of meeting between the creator and createe. We can see that there is sort of borders and processes that are going from the outside, which the outside is the beginning or the demarcation line of where from sacredness starts. And then we move to the inner part, which is to do with the ark, yeah, and the two cherubs on top of it. So inside the ark, we have that which is eternal, that which is unchanged. We have the Torah as it was given engraved on stone. Inside the ark, we have as well the broken tablets. We have the whole tablets written, engraved, and we have a jar of manna. And all this is sealed. It is covered with inside and outside with gold. Then it is covered again with a cloth. Then on top of it, you have two cherubs, and in between them, there is this heart or being that wishes to see what is actually needed now. There is a Hasidic description which is very beautiful. Then you can listen to God speaking to himself about what is needed now. Meaning consulting with himself what is needed for humanity now. Okay. And this is called the Holy of Holiness. But actually, the whole movement is important, and how we see it even in the ark itself. Because in the ark itself, when it's stable and it's resting in its place and everything is built inside, there is something that will never be removed from it, and it shouldn't be removed, and that is, one can say, the poles that are going inside the rings that for carrying it, meaning that inside that which is stable and infinite, it must include a movement, readiness for movement. This is eternal as well. It means that if we will find somehow the ark today, the poles should be there. Otherwise, it's not the ark. It means that it's the movement of becoming. Yeah? The movement of not that there is no inside creation, there is no completion. There is just a movement towards completion. So all that we see as a structure of the tabernacle is actually a repetition of getting a deep attainment of the structure of creation. So we recreate, one can say, in the tabernacle, inside ourselves, a structure that has the same processes that creation has. So we can create the simile. So the first important thing that is happening in creation is that light is being extended, a presence is being extended, and then it's being covered. So you can see in each part of the tabernacle, something is being built and then it's being covered. So the whole process is revelation and concealment. As I said, the ark is being covered with gold, inside and outside. Then it's being covered with cloth. Then there is the two cherubs, which are facing each other, female and male, meaning the ark is the bed, is the point of copulation, is the highest, the most sensitive point in the whole structure. It is the meeting point, is the becoming one. Okay. And that is being covered with another sort of curtain that is separating holiness or sacredness from the Holy of Holy. And then even the table is made of wood, covered with gold, covered with a crown around it. Okay. And then each item or each structure, each state, one can say, is to do with making it, meaning revealing its need and then covering it. One of them, let's say, the most sensitive is when we come to the altar. Yeah. So we have, let's say, what the necessity, the bed, the table, the chair, yeah, or the seat, and menorah, and the place of light. Those are the four elements that are needed. Okay. But when we come to, we move away into the question, how actually can we approach it? Okay. How can we, what is the way, what is the possible allowance to get near it? Okay. So basically, it's the tabernacle, our altar. Okay. Because on the altar, there is the offering. Offering is to do with coming close. But listen to how the offering place, meaning the altar is being built. First, it's not to do with something that is stone, but it's to do with, one can say, earth. So it's the most heavy element, because we need to approach or to come near something. We need to uplift. This is that which is very heavy in us, the heavy heart. Okay. But how it's so then this is covered with brass, and the brass need to be hollowed. Why brass need to be hollowed? I will have a look to see how it's written in English here. I think, yeah. Number 8, it's chapter 27, yeah, verse 8. You see, it's with the title, The Tabernacle Altar. So everything that is to do, it has to be overlaid with brass, okay? And then it says in verse 8, hollow with boards shalt thou make it, as it was showed thee in the mount, so shall they make it. So the the altar should be with small boards that are hollow. Why they need to be hollow? Why we need this inner space? Because you cannot approach or come near something if you don't actually perceive the distance. And the hollow part is what I said, is the delta. It's the distance that is truly in our heart from the higher. So if we want the condition of coming nearer is actually to have the recognition of the difference, of the gap that we have in from the higher, and to make this space of our heart empty from ourselves, so we can actually approach and sort of allow the quest, allow the question, allow the need to uplift the heart, or to close the gap through smoke, through transformation of something that is matter into something that is immaterial, something that actually can connect us or make us feel closer. Okay, so this is one of the example of actually how we need to approach it. So I'll stop here before I go into something else, which I think is enough for today. So I'll just ask if you have questions so far. Is it understood if something is not? So first you have to look at the baseline of it is actually, and let them make me a sanctuary. Make me, for my presence, because this will be a first response to the higher. The first, or one of the desires of the higher is to dwell in the lower. So if we perceive that, it's the first thing that we do is to let ourselves make him a sanctuary place in ourselves, so he can dwell in it. So it's in a way a first response, a first true response to the will and the wish of the higher, of the Creator, to dwell in the lower. So as though he's saying, I wish to do it if you will make your heart or your life a dwelling place for me. So this is sort of around this pole, the whole idea of the sanctuary or the tabernacle, the dwelling place, revolves. So everything that we spoke about, all the characters, all the processes that we need to go, are actually coming closer to the inner pole of that dedication, which is it. This is the inner pole. A devotion of what Malchut has done is to make herself a dwelling place for for infinite light. So here we get to the point that each spirit, in their relation to other spirit, would like to make themselves, like the source, a dwelling place for the higher. Okay. Through all the structure of that realm and everything that occupies it, which are part of the processes of how to bring oneself into this unity of meeting point, which is the Holy of Holiness.